Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is A Woman's Prerogative. And in case you haven't heard the news, we actually have 2 episodes of A Woman's Prerogative every Monday, and we'll have a different topic on each one. So please join us for this one and for the other one. Our topic today is how I would describe myself in an elevator pitch. We stand for education, inspiration, and hope, and that's what we're bringing forward for you today. I'm not here alone. We have 2 other women who are with us today. Let's welcome them to the show. We've got Caroline HEWARD. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Nice to have you. And we have a brand new person joining us, Caroline. How exciting is this?
Oh, very.
Let's welcome SWANETTE KUNTZE to the show. Hello.
Woo-hoo!
Woo! Nice to have you with us. Welcome, welcome. So, ladies, for people who are joining in for the first time and they haven't met either one of you, this is not your elevator pitch, by the way. How would you describe the value that you bring, and to whom do you bring the value? We'll start out with Caroline.
The value that I bring is I help each person that calls me or connects with me to bust their stress. So we're all walking around with lots of different ailments, physical, emotional, mental, and it causes us challenges. And I identify the root cause and help you literally break through that stressor. And so you have an incredibly a good night's sleep, and you will feel really, really relaxed. Who I help? Well, we're all suffering with some level of stress. So it's each person has their own way of handling their stress in terms of the way it presents itself, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or behavioral. So I literally help each person break through and bust their stress.
All right. Bust your stress. Bust your stress. Fantastic. Thank you. SWANETTE, same question over to you. The value that you bring, and to whom do you bring it?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm helping leaders to legends. The value I'm bringing is that people that feel that they have a mission, that they have kind of a soul purpose and not figured out what it is, but they have this kind of whispering in their head that there is something more just earning money, creating wealth, being here on this planet. I'm helping them to understand what is it that they want to be here and what is a legend they want to become. So as a muse of magnificence, I'm the leader to legend. And I help them with spiritual forensics to investigate their immortality. This is what I'm doing.
Thank you very much. And SWANETTE, I have to say, I think I have the same dress. Is that a dress or a top?
It's a top.
It's a top. I have a dress. It's the same thing. How about that? So we like to have a little bit of fun on this show as well, because not only are we providing education, but we also like to provide some entertainment. So we're just going to have a fun conversation today about an elevator pitch. If you can think back to some point in your life, because we've all done a number of things, somebody asked you what it is that you do, and you kind of went down this path of blah, 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 but they're like, oh. Has that ever happened to you? Because I know it's happened to me.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we'll start with SWANETTE this time. Tell us a little bit about that experience for you.
Yeah, it was a moment when I didn't have any clarity about what I really will do and what is my own purpose. So it was that I didn't even have the words. And now, as you can hear, I'm not native English. I'm coming from Germany. So starting as well speaking in a different language was a lot of a challenge at the beginning. And this meant that if someone comes to me, what are you doing? It is like, okay, it is all about me. It's about me telling what I'm doing, but not really getting the understanding what is the transformation I'm helping people with. So they got lost in this, oh, I don't want to hear all the story, but better to understand what is in for them. So I think this was like the transformation, getting clarity about what is really the support I can give my clients and what is the transformation that they are going through.
Fantastic. Thank you, SWANETTE. You just hit the nail on the head, which is when we start talking about ourselves, I do this, I do that, boring. People are just tuning out. What is it you can do for them? So that's why I started off with that question today. So that's an integral component of an elevator pitch. And having come from corporate, I've been in many elevators with executives. It's like, that's the guy I've been trying to get the meeting with, and there he is. And what am I going to say? And then the doors open and you say nothing. Caroline, over to you.
I too also covered it in my story and just told them everything, you know, what do you help with? And so then I started talking about my own depression, my own anxiety, and I got lost in my story rather than thinking about just giving them salient points. I got very lost in all the detail so that they got everything and what my transformation was. And then I did lose them. Some people I kind of gained along the way because they were interested in the story. And then other people were kind of looking the other way because they were disinterested in my story. So I did talk too much about me in the first instance and less about how and what I do would help the other person.
Thanks, Caroline. That's a really nice segue into the next part of the elevator pitch, identifying who is your target audience. Sometimes people will say, oh, it's everyone. What I have is for everyone. SWANETTE, I see you shaking your head. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, somehow this is, of course, for everyone. But if we really want to reach out to our ideal client, we will have criteria. And this means that you have to define them for yourself so that you can also attract these kind of people. It is about your own vibration, about the resonance you are bringing out into the world and what kind of people feel this kind of vibration you do have and feel that, oh, she is the one I want to work with. And it makes a difference if you work with children or if you work with mission-driven business leaders or if you work with only women or only men. All this makes a difference in your own marketing as well and how you pitch what you're doing.
Excellent point. Thank you so much, SWANETTE. One thing I want to also cover, because this is a woman's prerogative, is, and I've done this, is we start giving away everything we're doing. Oh, hi, this is free. Hi, I'll do that for free. And then when it's time to pay the bills, we're like, oh, there's no money because I gave everything away for free. So how do you evaluate what you should be charging or what you are charging for your clients? No one wants to speak on that one. It's the whole money topic. We hate it.
I'm happy to speak about that. I think it is about my expertise. Like when I look back what I have invested as time and money into my own education, like I'm educated in medicine, I'm an engineer in chemical environmental technology, I'm a certified business coach, and so on and so on. I have a lot of certificates, and of course, I spent a lot of time and money doing this. So now working with people means I can really give them a shortcut for what I have been through. So my expertise is very high. And I think therefore the fee I'm charging can also be very high because we don't need a lot of time to go through this transformation, but I can quantum leap them. And I think this makes kind of the base of understanding how to charge the fee I'm charging.
SWANETTE, I really appreciate that. I want to add on something to that. When you just said the fees that you're charging are high to whom? Maybe to some they're low. it's all perspective. And what I mean by that is I took a course and there was a speaker, and then you could sign up for the speaker's coaching, and she charged $5,000 an hour. And I thought, what? And people were signing up. They signed up, and she's living in Manhattan, having a great life. So my point is, as women, I feel like we put labels on ourselves because we are concerned that somebody else is judging what we're doing. And yet we're bringing value. You just talked about your background. You have extensive experience. I wasn't even aware of all of that. So you have a right to charge whatever you want. You just need one person to pay it, and then so on and so on, right?
Yeah, so of course, this was like, if you look into mainstream media and you see, into the mainstream and see what normal coaches are charging, then in this relationship or in this relation, it would be high. But for the people I'm working with, it is not. So it was like, okay, if you look into what are the top clients, then this is a normal fee they are paying. It's easy for them because now they pay, I don't know, 5,000 for a handbag, and this is nothing. So it depends with whom you are working, of course.
Absolutely. And we're going to go over to Caroline, but another good point you brought up is doing your research, finding out what your competitors are doing, and then how can you put yourself a distance away from them. Caroline, what about you?
Well, that's the whole reason that I made sure that I was in Harley Street, so that that said a lot about my credentials, and that didn't make people say, well, so what's your qualifications then? So how come you're in, when I said I was in Harley Street, that would actually be a credential checker, a qualifier of like, she must be good if she's in Harley Street. So therefore I'm expecting to pay. And also, like Swanette, I've done a lot of training, a lot of credentials, a lot of qualifications over my 23 years of doing this work. And from my perspective, what I do, I make it look easy. And so I segment what I can do for the person by saying 1 to 3 conditions in the session to make it feasible for somebody on a low budget. And then we can do a whole of life or longer sessions for the people that have more money. So I want to make what I do much more amenable to a lot of other people that probably wouldn't have the finance to be able to take advantage of my services, which is why I give so much here on USA Global TV and Radio, because from my perspective, I want to give and help as many people as possible. And then the extra stuff, of course, they have to pay for. And I make it as palatable as possible in terms of the finances. And it's also according to the person that approaches me. I had a lot of financial people, bankers, traders, stockbrokers, and of course they have the money, they just don't have time. And I always find that it can be either one or the other. They have time, not the budget, or they have the budget but not the time. And so I always find that I'm working with those two places of they have a challenge with.
Excellent. Thank you, Caroline. I appreciate that. Let's go back to the elevator pitch. So you start off talking. Do you throw in your price? Hey, by the way, I got a 2-for-1 special this weekend. I don't know if you're interested. I've got a card here. Take my card. Do you kind of push that information on them, or do you just spark their interest and then see if they'll contact you?
For me, I spark their interest. I give them something that's interesting, that, if they are stressed, then they will, be interested. And, I offer them a free half-an-hour consultation. And if they're interested, then they will call, and they will ask questions about where I would help them. If they have back pain, neck pain, say, give me a call. I do a free consultation for 30 minutes. And if you want more, obviously we're walking around with more than one symptom. So if you want more, obviously then we can look at a package and a plan to help you further. So it's giving them something for nothing that actually is of great value to them.
Thank you, Caroline. Swanette, how do you feel about that, giving something for nothing?
I also have a 30-minute exploration call, because I feel that okay, you have an elevator pitch, and within some seconds you can show who you are. But it really, for me, it is important that the chemistry is right. So, and you only can figure this out if you start creating a relationship. And therefore you need a little bit of time. And therefore I'm offering this 30-minute exploration call, and people can now then understand more in detail what I'm doing, but especially I can understand if I'm the right person to help the client or the prospect with the topic he has or with the challenge he has. So I think it's important to start the relationship for free, and then figuring out if we both can work together.
I like that as well. Thank you. Now, something I want to bring up, I want you to imagine you're in the elevator right now, and there's it's just you and someone else, and everyone is a potential client, right? It's a matter of finding out what you just talked about, Swanette, and also you, Caroline. So what information are you going to give between the 3rd floor and the 10th floor when this person is getting off? You might have literally 1 minute. What are the key elements that you want to include and make sure that that person leaves with that?
Well, for me, I would usually say, if they ask me a question of what do I do, I say I'm a stress expert and I can help you bust your stress. So if you have any physical, emotional, mental pain, give me a call. Here's my card, and I will help you alleviate one symptom if you give me a call over 30 minutes, and it will guarantee you an incredible night's sleep.
Okay, fantastic. Now I'm just going to, we're role playing here a little bit. So here's what I want to say to you. I'm now the person, I'm thinking, I don't have any problems with stress, right? I don't want to announce in a public forum, even though it's just the two of us. I'm not going to let you know that I have any problems with stress because you're in my building. You might go talking to so-and-so. What could you say at maybe a higher level without drilling down to that specifically?
Everything, your consultation is completely confidential and discreet.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Swanette, over to you.
So my question would be like, if it is the last day of your life and you want people to remember you, what is it that they should tell about you? So what is a legend that you left for the next generations? Are you curious to figure out what it is that is really driving you, that it is what your soul really wants to bring into this world? Then please contact me. Here's my number.
Excellent. So in your approach, yeah, you're asking questions that are thought-provoking.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So you both have different approaches now. I love doing this, putting people in the spot. Is there anything that you feel you can learn from what the other shared?
So for me, it is that I didn't give any information about who I am and what I'm doing. So this is kind of the missing part. Of course, within asking these questions, there will be answers, and I have the chance to give some information about myself, why I'm doing this, why I'm asking this kind of questions. So it's more like playing the ball back and forth with these questions, but I'm not really pitching what I'm doing. So perhaps this could be an ad.
I like that. I like your openness also. That's excellent. Caroline, how about you?
I liked Swanette's questions in terms of how you approached it, so I could give a little bit more of that in terms of my opening, and it could be couched in the space of something like, would it be amazing for you if you had a stress-free life? What would it give you? How would you live your life without any stress, physically, emotionally, mentally? What would you gain from that? Yeah, it's just a different way of, and I really quite like it.
I like that question too. I love the questioning because it really makes you think. Yeah, I'd like to have a stress-free life. Yeah, I'd like to think about the legacy I'm going to leave. These are really important things. And it's the exact opposite of what most people do. If you go on LinkedIn, every day of the week, someone is pushing something down our throats. This long, I do this. If you want a consultation, like, no, I want you to leave me alone because you didn't even take any time to get to know me. So there's my next question for you. Given that we are able to work globally and we don't know who all of our potential audience is, how much research do you have to do before you reach out to someone? So in the elevator, for example, I used to do this when I was in corporate. I would look at the names on the marquee to see which businesses were in there and then see what would make sense in terms of what I'm offering and who might be interested in buying it. And I might walk around in the parking lot and figure out who's who, or I go into the cafeteria. I've done all these things. I've been thrown out. Anyway, my question for you is it important to research before you speak to a client, or once you have that consultation, you then do the research, or there's no research at all? It's just sort of chemistry.
From my perspective, I don't really need to know too much about the person because they usually don't want to tell me a lot of their personal stuff. So it's about the less I know in terms of their personal, the more I will show up to be actually knowing things about them and being able to help them. Because it's not important to me to know everything about them. It's important to me to help them with their issues, with their challenges, rather than looking at their whole lifestyle. Because these are the things that I'm going to help them with that they don't tell people, that it's very behind closed doors, very secretive. So it's not really necessary for me to know a lot about them.
Thank you so much, Caroline. Swanette, what did you think about what Caroline just shared?
Yeah, so I think this is a different approach I do have. I like it that you are open to kind of everybody who really fits in. For me, it's quite different. I'm hyper targeting my clients, and this means I'm doing a lot of research about them. So to understand, are they really the ones I would love to work with, that I allow to come into my magical world? And this means that we must have kind of the same mindset or values about life, like being respectful and being there for freedom and peace and love. And so for me, it's kind of eliminating people that are not the right fit for me at the first place. And on the other hand, I'm doing the research while I'm listening to other podcasts, for example, or like listening or watching a show like this one. And I see, oh, this person is interesting somehow. There's some kind of vibration inside of them. I like this energy, or I like what they're telling me. And but I see something like their expanded reality. I see what is possible for them that they can't even imagine that it is. And then I'm reaching out to these kind of people and say, okay, I've seen you there and there, and I was fascinated by whatever you shared, or how you were, like with your energy, whatever it is. And then I'm starting the relationship with them and figuring out if they're interested to create their legacy.
Brilliant. I love this. We have two different approaches. It's very interesting. And I should tell the audience, you two never met before. So this is the first time that you're actually engaging. It's turned out really well. So it sounds like, Swanette, you're putting research and time because you're going to be establishing what sounds like a long-term relationship with someone. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Caroline, in your approach, because everyone is dealing with stress, it's a matter of someone being open to working with someone and sharing what it is that's really going on with them. And in your situation, Caroline, is it one where you could also have a long-term partnership with your clients, or is it basically, I'm going to help you heal in these areas and then bye-bye?
Well, there are some people that do come to see me when stuff hits them, so I help them solve the issues at that point. And then, life hits them. There could be a bereavement, there could be a demotion or a promotion or a change of home. So we're all, we're living, we don't just stop and, you know, sort of cease to have challenges and problems. And so, yes, you know, they will come to me and they'll have some issues that they need addressing, and then we work out a plan to work through those, and then they're sorted, they're solved. And sometimes that's it. You know, they feel they've got everything they need, and they go and they feel they've got what they needed at that point. And there's others that come, you know, if they were international, if it was face to face, they would probably come once or twice a year, you know, when they were in town, and that's because they make a beeline because of the benefit that they had. And so it's not a one size fits all. You know, everybody will come in their own way, whether it's once, whether it's twice, whether it's thrice, or whether it's, you know, an ongoing affair, so to speak. It just depends how comfortable they are and how much I give them to be able to help in future stressful situations.
Understood. Thank you, Caroline. Swanette, what does the engagement with you look like? Once you have the consultation, the research is done, then what does that relationship with that client look like?
So normally we start with a one-day conversation and deep dive about their current situation to get clarity. Where are they at the moment? And I'm able to see beyond what they're telling me, even though, because I'm intuitive, which means I'm clairvoyant and precognitive. And this is a gift I have since I was 8 years old. So what I can do is I can see what, for example, is holding them back in their current time, in this lifetime. I can go into their ancestral line and see what are patterns that are giving over from one generation to the next one, that are holding them back to really step into their gifts. And last but not least, I can go into the Akashic records, which are the library of the soul with every experience and every lifetime you had, and see if there is still a connection and an energetic cord to the present time that is holding them back from really stepping into their soul purpose. And so it will be like layer by layer, going deeper and deeper and deeper. And this is a process starting with a one-day exploration, deep dive, have the status quo, and then it starts with either they can come here to beautiful Madeira Island where I'm living for a 1 week intensive one-on-one retreat, or we can work digitally as well via Zoom. And this will be a process like on a weekly basis. And normally we start with 12 weeks. And from there, we go after that into the more strategic part. And then my engineer mind comes in, like really seeing what is the process to make the legacy reality and to manifest what they really want to bring into this world. And from there, it is like, okay, now they have an understanding what they want to create, but I will also be there like the coach or consultant if they want to create this legacy. And for example, therefore it is necessary to create a new business or to see who are the contacts I need to connect with, who can support me. Perhaps there's some research necessary and to figure out, okay, what is already on the market, where are the gaps? So this is more the strategic part. And over again, this will happen that there will come up some kind of beliefs or blockages that were not visible before. And then if this comes up, of course, we will clear and rewrite and reframe this as well.
Very comprehensive.
Wow.
Impressive. So when you think about the beginning of the show, when you thought about your elevator pitch and you think about it now, is there anything that you would change, add, delete from the beginning?
I would add some of those questions that you had, and also put in, I'm not quite sure whether I said I'm the Harley Street stress expert. I usually do. So I would add the questions that Swanette suggested, which I feel would be, you know, more opening for the other person to have a conversation about. And also I don't usually talk tools. I don't usually tell people what I do. And maybe after hearing what Swanette's just said, perhaps I should talk about some of the things that I use, because I use chakra psychology. I use, I'm also intuitive in terms of I'm working with, I know things, so I'm clairsentient, so I feel things, and I'm I can't think of the word now, but I know things, claircognizant. And so from that perspective, they don't have to tell me things. I work it out without them having to divulge things to me that they don't even realize. Sometimes we're in challenges that we don't even realize we're in, and they become our norm, and so we don't think about the challenges because they're normal to us and we live through them. So perhaps, yes, having heard what Swanette's just shared, I would share some of my skills without giving too much detail.
I love it when we're learning and taking things away. Fabulous. How about you, Swanette? How would you change?
Yeah, I would definitely add a little bit more about myself and pieces of my own story, why I'm doing the work I'm doing. Because if someone wants to leave a legacy, perhaps it's interesting for him as well why I feel that I want to create legends in this lifetime. And so I think it's important to share a little bit of my own story as well. Also, perhaps understanding about the terms I'm using, like being the elite expert in spiritual forensics. For most people, it's like, oh, it sounds interesting, but I don't know what it is. So getting more clear about with whom I'm speaking and if they can understand my language. I think I have to rethink this a little bit.
I think that's a great takeaway also. And Swanette, Caroline is the Harley Street stress expert. When I think of her, that's who I think of. Are you using your moniker, the Muse of Magnificence? Are you saying, my name is Swanette, blah, blah, blah? How are you incorporating your tagline?
Yeah, I'm using, my name is Swanette, and I'm the Muse of Magnificence for Leaders to Legends.
And when you say that, are you getting, people are shaking their head, go, yeah, that's cool, I get it. Or are people going, oh, I don't know what that means?
It is, oh, what is this all about? Like, they never heard the term Muse of Magnificence, and they want to understand, okay, what is a muse? And we have an idea, like, this is someone who is connected to creation, to inspiration, to beauty. And then, of course, it's about the magnificence of my clients, to understand who they truly are in their own magnificence. And this is like the process. We start a conversation about that. And I'm happy that people ask questions, what is it about, and are curious. So this is start of the beginning of a conversation.
I was going to say, it's an excellent conversation starter. My next question is, I've met people who stand out because of the way they're dressed or because of their style. An example, I knew this woman in real estate. I didn't really know her, but I would see her at fundraisers or parties. She always had on a yellow hat and yellow glasses all the time. People would say, that's the yellow hat lady. That's the, yeah. So what do you think about maybe doing something to brand yourselves? Is this something we're interested in? I know for me, mine's the red lipstick, the red nails, and I have the little hair things. And I have my Dr. Jacalyn necklace. What do you think about branding yourself in a way like that? Or is that just not really important?
I don't really feel it's that important. I certainly wouldn't need, I don't feel I need to wear something yellow. I feel that my beingness is important rather than what I look like. I feel that how I'm being with others and how I show up is important in terms of the conversation, rather than having a specific type of look or type of clothes. I feel that, my impression is, and I always say this, what impression do we leave behind? Because we all leave an impression, like a footprint. And I like to leave the impression of people feeling calm, feeling relaxed, and feeling good in my presence. And that's what I like to leave. So it's an experience of a good feeling.
All right. So Caroline's going au naturel, the way she is, and she's leaving that good feeling. Swanette, how about you?
Yeah, I would say I would love to leave a good feeling as well, but also I would like to be recognized. And therefore, before I came to Madeira, I had a business in Germany, and we worked with horses in leadership trainings. So this meant that I always dressed up like I would just come from a horse. So with the jeans and the boots and the leather jacket and having the hat on. Even when we were on business meetings or on ferries or anything, I was always dressed like, oh, there she is, the girl with the horses. And it makes it very easy for people to recognize me when I was there, because everybody else was wearing like their black suits or blue suits, and I looked different. And for me, it was part of my image, of my branding. And I think now I have to find my branding again, how I would look like as a muse of magnificence. I'm still not there, but I want to go there.
I love your openness. That's fantastic. So we've got people who are on the opposite sides of the spectrum here again. And I think another topic, because we don't have enough time today, but we could start just diving in very shallowly, is that we all do more than one thing. So maybe somebody knows you as the Harley Street stress expert or the Muse of Magnificence, or they know me as a TV host, but I do a lot of other things. You all do a lot of other things. So it's sometimes challenging. And I've gotten feedback from men over the years. I do this. You don't know what you're doing. You're actually not really doing anything very well because you're all over the place. And that's not the case. We can do a number of things, but how do we get people to feel confident that if they know us in this capacity, we could also help them in that capacity?
People will buy from people that are going to solve their problems. And so I usually talk about problems. The kind of problems that I can solve are the kinds of conversations that I have. And so if I talk about stress generically, because that word means 1,000 things to 1,000 people. It means different things. And so if I just talked about physical stress, somebody might turn around and say to me, I don't suffer with stress like that. I don't have stress. But then they might not sleep, or they might have relationship issues, or they might have intimacy issues. And so stress, it's very, very personal. And everything that I do essentially helps people be calmer, have a better life, and a more peaceful sleep, and a more peaceful experience within their life. And so rather than saying that, people aren't looking generally, from my perspective, for peace. They're generally looking for a better way to live and a better way to sleep. And so I feel that people will always talk to me because they want to know what I can solve, and because I'm a problem solver.
Caroline's a problem solver. Now, one quick comment to Caroline, then we're going to Swanette as we close out. So you just mentioned that people will come to you because they're not able to sleep. What about the people who can sleep just fine and they don't really feel like they have any problems, but maybe they have got a nagging headache that they just are so used to it? So think about that, and we'll talk about that next show. Swanette, I want to go over to you. What are your thoughts about this?
I think it is all about relationship. Like, if people can understand that I'm an expert in different areas because I have been through this by myself. It is not only that I can speak I have read books, but of course I have experienced all this. And if I start sharing my story, what happened with me over the years, then people can understand, okay, perhaps she can help me with this as well, or with this as well. And as we already have a relationship and people have clarity about how I work and how I can support them, they will come with different topics or with different challenges as well. It is not only like I help them create the legacy. It is also like if they feel that they have not constant relationships, or if they feel that they are stressed out if they want to speak on stage, because this, for example, could be also a problem in a belief they have about themselves, or this could be an experience they had from a past life, or it could be that it was a pattern in their own genetic line. So I think it is all about understanding with whom we are working, and people understand who we are, and then it will come automatically.
Absolutely. I totally agree. It starts with us knowing who we are, believing in what it is that we do. And for Caroline, no red nails, no lipstick, no hair jewels. That's me. But I feel comfortable in this role. So that's how I show up. We all have to show up authentically as ourselves. So I'd love to have each of you share some final words for our audience, including how they can contact you and who you want to contact you, but something you want them to take away from meeting you today. And we'll start with our newest member, Swanette.
Yeah, so I think it is important to get your pitch done, and also understand with whom you would like to work, and of course who you are. What is a story that makes you unique and that you can share in 20 seconds or 1 minute? So for me, it's like an experience today being here on this show for the first time, and thank you so much for having me here. If you feel that I shared something that resonated with you, you can reach out to me either on social media with my name, SWANETTE KUNTZE, or you can find me on my website, spiritual-changemaker.com.
Thank you so much, Swanette. It was a great episode. Thank you for being a big part of it. Thank you for being open to my questions. Caroline's used to me because we're on the Listening Mentor on Fridays and I grill her all the time. Caroline, what are your last words?
My last words are, we are all individuals and we are all special. We were here, born to have a journey. We start with being born and we journey through life, and things happen, things appear in our lives that we have to overcome. And we all overcome our challenges in different ways because we're all individual. We're human. We're actually in a physical human body, and we are really spirit. And my last words to you are, enjoy, experience all there is, physically, emotionally, mentally, because we are here to have a human experience. And it's not meant to be stressful. And that's why I can help you bust your stress. If you would like to reach out to me, you can reach out to me on a phone call. If you're international, +44. If you're local, 07523 120 189. Or email me on nomorestress@live.co.uk. Or please reach out if you are feeling any level of stress for a free consultation. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, Caroline. Thanks, Swanette. I want to announce also we had a first ever here on this platform. We had a show in German. The show is completely in German. We're going to translate it into English. So if anybody's out there and they want to do shows in other languages, this is the place to come. So thank you, ladies, for being here. We want to say hello to our other panelists, DESZIREE Richardson, Justina MUTALE, Jenetta Barry, Mariska Dupria, and Madalene Chan. We look forward to seeing you next week when we come back. All right, we're coming right back with our next show, which is Sales Leader Roundtable. So join us for that. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.